This is Radio Taiwan International.
Welcome to the news on Radio Taiwan International. I'm Hannah Belinsky, coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. We begin with a look at today's top stories for Wednesday, December 24th. President Lai calls for deeper Taiwan-Japan cooperation as visiting lawmakers reaffirm security ties. President Lai pushes legalizing whole-of-society defense resilience. And opposition lawmakers propose impeachment of president. But first, today's top story. President Lai Ching-te on Tuesday met with visiting Japanese lawmakers, including former Justice Minister Keisuke Suzuki and Liberal Democratic Party Japanese House of Councillors member Hirofumi Takinami, calling for continued efforts to deepen Taiwan-Japan cooperation. Lai thanked the delegation for their visit at a critical time, noting it showed Japan's concrete support for Taiwan. He also expressed gratitude to Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi for her emphasis on peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait. Lai highlighted the two democracies' long-standing friendship through natural disasters and other challenges. Suzuki expressed Japan's appreciation for Taiwan's support amid pressure from China, saying that an incident in Taiwan is an incident for Japan, and that Japan would never allow any attempt to change the status quo by force. Takinami, chairman of the pro-Taiwan TY Group, added he hopes the two countries will deepen security and economic collaboration and advance shared values and stability in the region. President Lai Ching-te chaired the 6th meeting of the Presidential Office's National Whole-of-Society Defense Resilience Committee on Tuesday, stressing the need to advance resilience as a legalized framework. He called for expanded social participation through cross-agency cooperation with civil society and education that grows resilience across generations. He also signaled a push for military-civil integration based on drills to embed defense capacity in society. The president stated that the threat posed to Taiwan by hostile foreign forces continues to escalate. To more actively strengthen public resilience, he urged the cabinet to implement a clear authorization mechanism under the principle of central coordination, local implementation, and civilian collaboration, encouraging every citizen to participate. Presidential Office spokesperson Karen Kuo relayed,
"We will initiate institutionalized work regarding the division of labor among ministries, the roles of local governments and authorizations for civilian participation, to ensure all ministries clearly understand their responsibilities and also to enable non-governmental organizations, communities and families to understand relevant actions when facing crises."
The president noted that last year's urban resilience exercises in 11 counties and cities barely touched on civil-military cooperation and urged next year's exercises to strengthen integrated training. The random attack in Taipei on Friday has raised concerns about the government's National Public Safety Guide, known as the Orange Book. In response, Interior Minister Liu Shifang announced that future resilience exercises will include random violence scenarios and updates for public responses will be added next year, starting with an electronic version. The National Police Agency will also streamline violent attack response methods, with the online guide set to be available on the official website after a security review, while physical copies will come in line with the 2026 budget. KMT and TPP legislators have jointly proposed impeaching President Lai Ching-te in response to the Premier's refusal to countersign the act governing the allocation of government revenues and expenditures. Presidential Office spokesperson Karen Kuo said Tuesday evening that as long as the process is legal, constitutional, and procedurally sound, the president will respect it. Premier Zhuo Rongtai has withheld his countersignature from the amendments, which passed their third and final reading last month, citing clear violations of the Constitution. Per a cabinet press release last Monday, the amendments infringe upon the executive power of the cabinet. The legislative process for passing the amendments also lacked transparency and proper deliberation. Guo said that the president is willing to deliver a State of the Nation report to the legislature. She expressed hope that opposition parties would give greater consideration to expediting the review and passage of next year's central government general budget to better facilitate the advancement of national policies.
We hope both the ruling and opposition parties can return to institutional norms so that Taiwan can make steady progress in the face of internal and external challenges.
Kuo reiterated that under the principle of separation of powers, the executive, legislative, and judicial branches must all continue to function normally. She noted that the central government's general budget for the next year has yet to be reviewed since its submission in August. With only a few days left before the end of 2025, she earnestly requests that the legislature pass the budget as soon as possible to avoid impacts on public welfare and local development. Honduras' dissatisfaction with the economic results of switching ties from Taiwan to China has prompted presidential candidates to consider restoring diplomatic relations with Taiwan. Official vote counting for Honduras presidential and congressional elections has stalled since November 30th due to technical delays, leaving the country's political fate uncertain. United States foreign policy journal The Diplomat notes that the counting delays and ensuing institutional breakdown have put Honduras in a political deadlock, undermining democratic process and potentially reshaping the geopolitical landscape of Central America, with profound implications for both China and Taiwan. Radio France Internationale reported last Wednesday that amid the ongoing political stalemate, Honduras is also re-examining a key diplomatic choice. In 2023, Honduras severed diplomatic ties with Taiwan, ending an 82-year relationship, opting to instead establish relations with China. However, during the past 2 years, the economic promises that accompanied this shift have failed to materialize. Honduras previously enjoyed substantial profits from exporting agricultural products such as shrimp to Taiwan. China has since failed to fill this gap. Meanwhile, the rapid expansion of large Chinese retail chains has caused a 70% drop in sales for local producers. In 2024, Honduras' trade deficit with China widened to a staggering $2.5 billion. The candidates of the two major opposition parties both listed the restoration of formal diplomatic relations with Taiwan as a core policy pledge, emphasizing that this is not an ideologically motivated change, but rather a pragmatic adjustment based on economic benefits. Analysts believe this shift is closely linked to the accumulated economic disparities of the past 2 years. Per The Diplomat, if the election ultimately results in a change of government, Honduras could become the first country in nearly 20 years to switch formal diplomatic recognition from China back to Taiwan. Honduras represents a stress test of China's ability to translate diplomatic recognition into substantive influence. Should a reversal occur, it would be the result of not external pressure but rather unfulfilled promises, exposing the limitations of China's diplomatic model. For Taiwan, restoring ties would constitute a rare diplomatic breakthrough amid intensifying cross-strait pressure. Royal horses were decorated with vibrant colors and LED lights, all set for a 5-day journey through southern Taiwan.
The Lai Ching-te Temple in Kaohsiung held its annual Southern Patrol ceremony this week, showcasing an impressive procession of 14 intricately decorated royal horses from Tainan's Xihua Forest Farm. 6 of the horses carried temple staff, while the other 8 bore divine statues. The most valuable horse, worth around $25,000, led the procession. Each horse had a dedicated handler to ensure constant care, especially in the high temperatures and amidst the noise of firecrackers. Trainers provided black sugar water to help prevent heat stroke. They prioritized the horses' meals, which included 1 to 2 kilograms of hay and feed per sitting, along with midnight snacks handled before the caregivers had their own meals. Horses communicated stress by flattening their ears backwards, prompting immediate soothing during sudden disturbances like explosions. Handlers adjusted the procession order based on each horse's unique temperament and never left them unattended. Temple staff received special riding lessons for the event, with professionals also managing cleanup duties. Monthly costs for breeding, gear, and logistics exceed $30,000. Amid the sounds of gongs, drums, and fireworks, the pampered horses became the stars of the parade, symbolizing the devotion of the gods and their devotees as they toured local communities. Phil Leskowski for RTI News.
Thanks for joining me for the news. I'm Hannah Belinsky. Stay tuned for another 50 minutes of English language features brought to you by Radio Taiwan International.
Cash for everyone. The government is giving out 10,000 NT dollars. It's easy to claim. Choose direct deposit, ATM, or post office. Check details at the official website 10,000.gov.tw or 10000.gov.tw or call the free hotline at 1988. Stay alert. Don't trust unknown sources. This advertisement is brought to you by the Ministry of Finance.